Hey guys, it's been about a month or so since I talked about the barrel stove that I'm using to heat the greenhouse. Last time I talked about it, I was working on trying to get it up to a point where I could get a 45-50 degree differential between the inside temperatures here and what was going on outside. I'm through making all my adjustments now. I've been able to get that, so I'm pretty well set. Feel like I can handle just about anything Mother Nature can dish at me now. The only thing I'm missing is maybe some solar panels and some batteries as a backup supply to run the fans and things like that. So let me show you some of the changes that I made, some of the things that I learned, some of the mistakes that I overcame to get this thing working like it's supposed to be. And before I get to that part, I want to say something about Verizon. I've mentioned a few times in comments that I was having trouble with my broadband, and I'm going to explain exactly what was going on with that. I'm going to explain the Verizon deal first, and I hope this is as close to a rant as y'all ever see me do. I'm not the least bit happy about it. But basically, I haven't commented on very many videos lately, and the reason is I haven't watched very many videos. You are not going to watch many videos with download speeds like this right here. To quote Ron White, that's like the speed of smell. That is ultra slow. What happened was I was using 15-17 gigabytes a month on a $60 unlimited plan that I have had since December 2007. I have been with Verizon since Verizon ever came into existence. Back in 1994-95 when it was GTE, that's how long I had been with that company. I had paid them thousands and thousands of dollars over the years, or 16 years or so. And for them to start doing this crap right here, I was not happy. What they told me they would do was throttle me back during peak hours, and the rest of the time I would have my regular download speeds. I said, okay, I'm not hard to get along with. I understand the situation. What happened, it got worse and worse and worse. Peak hours became almost 24/7. It was dial up all the time. So after calling and complaining enough, they said, well, if you want 15 to 17 gigabytes a month, tell you what we'll do. We'll sell you a 4G modem, $80 a month. We'll give you 10 gigabytes, and if you want to make sure that you got room for your 15 to 17, you can pay us $80 a month for another 10 gigs over there. That will give you 20 gigabytes, keep you within this range right here, and you can watch all you want to. $160 a month is what they want me to spend, and I have been spending $60. And I said, whoa. Okay, now this is typical big corporation. They start out telling me that it was all in essence of fairness. I had to have let other people have equal access to the broadband signal, because you can only have so many people on the tower or something like that, so they say. But now, if I'm willing to give them another $100 a month, to heck with anybody else trying to use that tower down there. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm pretty much disgusted about it. When I click play, I expect to see a video, and I don't expect to see that thing sitting there and take 30 minutes to download a 2-minute video. So everybody else has ads and stuff all over there, so I have resisted that. If y'all see ads pop up on my stuff anytime in the near future, you'll know I'm trying to pay Verizon. Alright, I think my blood pressure went back down a little bit. Hope it did anyway. Alright, back to the stove. Down there on the other end, this was the room that I have the new double barrel stove in. I got my blower coming in down here on a 2-inch intake. I got basically a 10-foot stack. I got 4 foot on the inside. I got 6 foot on the outside. That is single wall 22 gauge pipe. Last year when I started out, I used the 24 gauge, the pipe that you kind of roll together, put it in the channel, and do that deal. That was the cheap stuff. This year I said I'll go to the 22 gauge rolled steel. It's a nice sturdy pipe, and I thought it was going to work out pretty good. It did for a while, but there's a problem with this configuration right here. I got a blower. I actually got a souped up blower now blowing in down here. I got a 10-foot straight pipe, which should be a good deal. I got 4 foot inside, 6 foot outside. I got a good solid pipe there. What is wrong with that picture? There's a serious problem with that right there. And when I figured it out, this thing right here, she's jumping now. Now let's talk about some of the changes that I made. First thing, the most obvious, this right here, put this foil bubble wrap stuff on the walls. When I first set it up, this wall right here wouldn't get hot, but it was nice and warm. You could tell that the heat was on this wall. And obviously if the wall is hot, the heat is going outside. Same deal all around. Put this stuff on it, and basically it reflects all the heat back in. Does a great job. It could be this close like the other stove that I put it on up there too, and this does not get hot. All the heat goes back this way. The other thing, on the back side of it right here, you know, remember, I was going to put my wood back there, but I needed to have a curtain or some way to go across here. So what I did, I went and bought a 6-foot, one of them cheap roll-up curtains, like $15 at Lowe's. Put my foil on the front of it, taped it, and now at night I can roll this up, get to my wood, load the stove, and I got a pipe in the ground that this fits into, one on each side. What I can do, let this thing back down, push it back behind the pipe, drop it right on down. That keeps a little bit more space in here to allow more airflow to work around here. I got a fan that sits right here and one that sits up there that pulls this air out. I think kind of as it comes in like this. Working pretty good. This is the fan box that I had made up for this year. Just 1x6 poplar. 2-inch outlet on this end going into the stove. And on this end was just a reverse flapper off a dryer vent. And inside was a 4 or 4.5 inch axial fan at 115 CFM. And this was running, did so, but I didn't think it was doing as well as it should. It just was not enough air going in there for the size of pipe I had coming out the top. So my buddy had given me this one right here. This is I think came off a gas furnace or something. Pretty powerful little unit. So I hooked it up straight in line right here, and it just blew everything inside the stove all over the place. I said, that's way too strong. We got to figure out a way to cut it back. I tried a dimmer. That didn't work. There's some motors just not made to be restricted like that. So what I had to do is find a way to divert some of the air. So I put a T down here. This is my 3-inch intake bringing fresh air from the outside, and then we drop it down to 2 inches going back out, send it over that way, and then I got 2 inches going to the bottom of the stove. And to actually control what was going into the stove, I got a ball valve right here, and I've got a little mark on it, knowing so if I need to cut it off and then move it back, I can get back to the same position. And that's working excellent right now. The next thing to deal with was this grate. Remember, I just put this stainless steel grate in here, and it's already starting to warp. The weld's already broke over here. Not good. And what was happening, now that I have a good forced air coming into the bottom of this stove, overnight, as this thing was burning, I would end up with a big bed of coals in the back, and this would be burned up through here. So I needed to find a way to get those coals, pull them to the front. I couldn't do it with the grate in the place. So took the grate out, threw that away, $130 some down the drain. Just rake my coals to the front each time, load the wood back in there. Works like a charm. So you don't need a grate if you got plenty of forced air coming into the front of it. Before I forget, I'm going to put some links at the bottom of this video to some things that a couple of guys sent me. Todd L. Frank, he sent me a ton of videos about secondary combustion, some really cool stuff. And Elk River MR, he sent me a link to a PDF that was all about wood-burning stoves, barrel stoves, rocket stoves. And to everybody else who send me things, links to stuff to watch, learn, thank you very much. I'm trying to learn this stuff just as fast as I can, and I don't know what I don't know. So if you help me learn it, I can learn a whole lot faster, and I appreciate it very much. So by now, I hope you have figured out the problem with this setup right here. It's actually pretty obvious now that I think about it. I've got a blower down here forcing air in. I've got a thermostat that sits over here that controls when this goes on and off. So right now we're doing like about 63, 64, we'll call it 64. At 64 degrees, this fan shuts down. This goes into a cool down cycle, and it's going to sit there and smolder a little bit. The smoke's going to start building up and everything in there, and seems all well and good. And when it gets down to about 60, I got a much shorter differential on this thermostat than I had the last one. This fan right here kicks in, and whoosh, all this air is rushing in, and this is filled with smoke, and it needs to go out. I got a 6-foot straight pipe, nice, no elbows in there. You would think everything is good to go, right? Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. This section up here at the top, being as how it is single wall pipe, totally exposed to the outside. While this is cooling down, this is restricting the air that's going in, so there's no air really wanting to come out. This starts cooling off up here. It gets colder and colder, and the longer this cycle happens to go, if it's a warm night like last night was, it takes a longer time for this to go from 64 to 60. So it makes this get colder and colder and colder. And when this blower kicks on and trying to force all this air out, anybody ever tried to start a cold stove or start a fireplace when it was cold? It takes a while for it to get warm enough for you to get a nice good draft going to suck that air out. And even though I had a forced air down here pushing it in, up here, this thing right here was just cold. And so what it had to do is try to kick everything out down here, every little gap, every little gasket it could find. It was trying to push the smoke out until it got warm enough up here, and then it would start working like it's supposed to be. So after I figured out what was going on, my next step was to make this single wall pipe into a double wall pipe and see if that would solve my problems. I'll show you how I did that. I don't have any 8-inch pipe, so I'm going to do this out of 6 and then a 4-inch flex coupling on the inside. Basically what I did, if you make like this is your 6-inch pipe and this is the 8-inch that you want to put on the outside of it, what I decided to do was go in and take the snips and cut me some flanges and fold them in so they would press up against the inner pipe and hold it in place. I did the same thing down at the bottom. I had to cut the angle to match the roof line. I got it pretty close. There's a little bit of cracks around it, but that's not a problem at all. And then what you do, you come back with your next piece of pipe, put that one on there, and go and notch the top of it so it looks like this, and you keep coming on up till you get, I had 3 2-foot pieces, and that made up my 6 foot and gave me a 6-foot double-walled pipe. Alright, we up on the roof now, and I want to show you a couple of things down here. You can see where the creosote had dripped down here. I mean, it was, when I went to clean it out, it was thick on the inside. And actually at the time, the creosote was actually a benefit to a certain extent because it was insulating the pipe somewhat. And until it got to the point where it's pretty much clogged up and then nothing could come up. And so after I cleaned it out, got it back to a nice single wall clean pipe again, that's when I started having the biggest problems because I had the upgraded fan on it and it just wouldn't work. It would do okay with that little small blower because it didn't push much air, but when I tried to increase the volume of air going in, it just couldn't come out. So now this is the bottom of it, and you can see what I did. I went ahead and cut the notches in the bottom and folded them in to match the 6-inch pipe on the inside, and I haven't caulked or anything down here. I don't think that's a problem whatsoever. And the same thing is cut, folded in here, and then a new piece of pipe is put over it. Come on up, do it again, and do it again. And up at the top, what I did was take the 6-inch collar that goes around the pipe, cap it with that, and then put sealant around it, and even put a little 6-inch clamp just to hold this down just in case the sealant didn't take right away. Now this has been running for either 4 or 5 nights already, and you can see there's no creosote dripping down this thing. Very little. This is all I've got in the last 4 or 5 nights. Major difference between that and what I was constantly getting dripping down. You can see the top of this right here is still nice and clean. This was the missing link right here. A double wall pipe. Once I put this on, this stove absolutely kicks butt. So in closing, lessons learned, I don't really need a grate. A stronger blower for the intake is a much better idea, and a double wall stovepipe up on the roof really helps out a lot. If you're just setting your stove up, put the double wall from the start. You won't regret it. If you've already got it, you got a 6, wrap it with an 8. You got 8, wrap it with a 10. Make that thing a double wall pipe, and it will help out a whole lot. So I hope that was helpful. I learned a lot from you guys, so when I learn something, I try to show you what I've done wrong, and what I did right, so maybe you can learn, something from whatever I do. I got a lot of plans for this year. We're going to branch out a little bit, do like Emerald, to take it up another notch. So we're going to do some hydroponic stuff in the next few weeks. Start out with some lettuce, and then I'm going to try some hydroponic tomatoes in here, almost like commercial production. Try that. I want to do the aquaponics. Give me some tilapia or some channel cats in here to get them set up. Got a lot of different plans for outside in the garden. How much can one person do? I don't know, but as I said before, Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It doesn't say you can do some things. It says you can do all things. What's my limit? I don't know. I haven't found it yet. So as long as I can get up every morning and keep doing what I do, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Y'all take care. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.